What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Real Spit from a Gangsta Gone Legit. Today we got my man Shaka, aka Zulu. What's up, bro?
What's up, BB?
All right, man. Ain't nothing, man. Yo, man, thanks for being a part of this show, brother. I appreciate you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you got it. So listen, man, let everybody know who you are and where you're from.
So my name is Shaka Johnson. Formerly from 915 Corbett Street.
At what age did you come off the porch? When did you get a taste of the street life?
Well, I guess I got the taste of it when I popped somebody. I mean, like at 9. So it was like
At 9, what? 19?
9 years old.
9 years old.
Yeah, I mean, like that was like.
Tell me about your early days with the Corbett crew. Tell me a little bit about what your role was, what you did. Just give me a little.
Well, if I was a Corbett, everybody don't realize that they take Corbett. You know what I'm saying? That was all a family from everybody else.
It's a family?
It was all for my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? She had 18 kids. So I mean, she had 18 kids on her side, and just meet other people in the other areas that that makes it more. Every Sunday we used to be in church at 8 o'clock in the morning. All our peoples, for my friends, had to come to this church. See, that was the crazy part of our life, you know what I'm saying? Because we were doing the shit as we were doing church, because we were intermissions. While she's doing things, she's doing at our church. It was crazy because some people was running around, robbing people,
right,
doing other things.
Yeah.
Talking, you know what I mean? So from 8 in the morning to 6, we was driving shout out to my cousin Peter, you know what I'm saying? Bless you, you know what I'm saying? He's over there in Brockton. Me and him, at the age of 12, was driving my grandmother's Cadillac. You know what I'm saying? All through Boston, Massachusetts, like this. Ha, 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 ha. Stopping at girl's house, having threesome, doing that. Because motherfucker, we got a little money. We got older bras hanging out. It was like, it was crazy.
So, yeah, hey, man.
It was our life.
Story, bro. Yeah.
It was our life.
That's why, hey, look.
And somebody want to contradict me and say anything else, I mean, I'm willing, you know what I'm saying, to put up, you know what I'm saying, like, that's my life. If I didn't get locked up at 16 years old.
Tell us about that. So you got locked up at 16. What was that for, and how long did you do it?
Oh, 11 to 8 months.
11 years?
11 years and 8 months, you know what I mean? Like, but the day I got arrested, you know what I'm saying, I knew when they was driving me, I was like, I don't even know when I'm going to come back.
So what did you go to prison for?
I went for murder. Oh. You know what I mean? I told people, like...
So what did you get, a second-degree murder?
No, they dropped it down to manslaughter. I got a 10 to 15. I did 11 to 8 months. They called it crime of passion. The robbery went bad, you know, and that's what happened. So they knew that, you know what I mean? But like I told people, you know what I'm saying, when I have counselors for my kids and all that, and I talk to young few, like, sometimes doing the right thing goes wrong. You know what I mean? And even when you're doing, you know what I'm saying, what you do, you go wrong, you do something, you still did wrong. If like I tell people, if you run into a house knowing you got a gun, you got a knife, you know you got to do harm. So don't act like you didn't want to do harm. See, and that's what I mean about people retelling. They're like, I didn't know they were going to do that. Did you have a gun on you? Did you have a knife on you? You knew there was something else going to happen.
Right.
You know, you knew something else was going to happen if you have that on you. So don't act like something changed in your life that moment. So that's why I be mad. So when they came at me, I'm like, I can only take it. You know what I mean? What they give, but I couldn't take nothing that everybody else is giving me. You know what I mean? Like, these people telling on me to save themselves.
I get it. So when you got locked up, you went in because your Cody's flipped on you.
Yes. Okay, they flipped me on me like hot sauce. You know what I mean? So, but that happens in life, I guess. You know, but you don't want that to happen to you because you're thinking you're doing the right thing.
Right. But that brings me to what I say all the time to these young brothers today, man. I try to let them know that the streets love no one. And you see how you said someone told on you, like, that's part of the game out here, man. And they got to realize that. And that's why we're doing this platform, so that they can learn from brothers who've been there, done that, instead of them thinking that, you know, they know it all and they got all the answers. We did it before you. So listen, when we tell you all that the shit ain't right and it ain't real, listen to that, because a lot of us went through it and lived it. Like you said, you wouldn't have been in jail if your own people didn't give you up. It's that simple, right?
But
so
that's great what you say though, P, right? But we growing up, we're young, we're making a little money. You got OG telling you, yo, that's not right. We've seen that. We've been through that. I gotta go through it the way I gotta go through it. They might listen to something that we say, partial. We might say 10 sentences. They're gonna listen to 3.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not mad at that. You listen to something because we went through it. I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean? Like, anybody asks me, you're like, do you would change your life and do something? I thought about it, you know what I'm saying? And one day I said, you know, I might want to change it, but I don't think I'll ever change what I've done in my life.
Okay, I understand that. So, but that I'm gonna elaborate on that a little later, right?
Yes, sir.
Because I definitely want to talk about the change, because you did change. You definitely changed in your life. But we're gonna get to that point. Right now, I want the masses to hear your story before you became legit. I want them to hear some of the things you've done. So that makes me that brings this question up. We're talking about gangster. So I want you to define in your words what makes you a gangster. Why do you consider yourself a gangster? Or why did you consider yourself a gangster?
Because I was true. You're saying I was a hard construction worker, as they call it, as that field. Like, you wanted the tough guy, I did it. You wanted to make sure there was no snitches in the team, I did it. You know, like, I didn't fuck with rapists. I didn't. And gangster was, to me, was being real, being official who you are. If you can look in the mirror and know who you are, if you can't look in the mirror, then you know what I'm saying, that I can't fuck with you. I mean, and at the end of the day, and I can look in the mirror every day. You know what I mean? To any woman that fuck with me, they love me. You know what I'm saying? To any nigga, you know what I'm saying, they know I'm loyal to them. Okay. You know what I mean? And if you're not loyal to me, listen, I got 500 contacts on my phone, P, and I only talk to maybe 7.
Right. Okay.
So that's what it's all come down to gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did things growing up. You know what I mean? I kicked in doors. People called me up like, yo, he raped my motherfucking sister. I did that. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You know what I mean? Like, I did a lot of things, you know what I'm saying, that I don't have to have no glorification for. You know what I mean? But one thing I don't want to do, you know what I'm saying, is like have motherfuckers talking about, it was all for nothing. No, it was for something. Because that's why you're living. They think, you know what I'm saying, because they think they're the king, or she thinks she's the queen. It's all about them. They want to sacrifice everybody. I learned, you know what I mean, like chess, they said, make sure if you can save everybody first before you can sacrifice. I mean, I don't know how everybody else look at that, but think about that. You know,
this is your story. It's how you look at it, how you see it. So
I do. I try to sacrifice. I try to help everybody else, you know what I'm saying, in life, though, P. You know, like, you know what I mean? I don't want to sacrifice my pawn unless I have to.
So, when you were doing your 11 years, tell me a little bit about the prison time. Like, where was you locked up at?
Well,
I'm sure you started in Walpole. Right?
I started at the White Wall. Yeah, we started out there. You know what I mean?
Well, let the people know what the White Wall is.
The White Wall is Walpole. It's called Cedar Junction. You know what I mean? At Walpole, you know, Cedar Junction. I started out there. They brought me first into the medical unit. You know what I'm saying? Where you first start out, right? Motherfucker asked me for a cigarette. I said, nigga, my uncle and them already hit me with a letter like, yo, don't give nobody nothing. I said, yeah, I ain't got nothing. This nigga, you don't give me a cigarette, I'm going to hang myself. Cracker hung himself in front of me. The COs ran down there, act like why they called, but they hung themselves. When I got in population, and this is all documentation, like when I got in population, you know what I'm saying? My first day in population, my man Freddie Fred, you know what I'm saying? I ran into P, you know what I'm saying? My cousin on. Freddie ran into me like, well, Shah, yeah, white boys owe me some money. You know what I mean? I get on the campus, you know what I'm saying? Ready? I walk in the yard, I slap a white boy right in the mouth, you know what I'm saying? Right at the top. I get lugged. I go to 10 block.
So you had quite a record in prison where you were getting in a lot of violence, a lot of fights, a lot of stuff like that. You stayed in the hole, right?
Yeah.
So what was I heard a story about you beating up a staff member. Who was that?
I beat the warden up in Walpole, City Junction. That's what got me sent, you know what I'm saying, to MCI New York. That set the whole trend, you know what I'm saying? Like, I only did 18 months in 10 block.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I try to tell people, you know what I'm saying, like, when you go to prison, I'm not trying to glorify it. I'm not trying to, like, say, but you go to prison, you know what I'm saying, like, you go to Walpole, if you don't touch 10 block, you don't touch 9 block, you don't touch 8 block, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's questions, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's me. I'm just questioning you, why was you in prison? Now you reformed, you're working in the kitchen, now you want to be settled. So I got to question that, you know what I'm saying, of some things, you know what I mean? Like, so I went to 10 block. I only posted it 18 months. He came to see me in 10 months. He was like, I'm like, yo, I got 8 months left. He's like, I'm gonna keep you here another 18 months. I'm like, if you do that, I'm gonna come beat your fucking ass when I get out. He did it. When I got out of the motherfucking 10 block, I played it. I went to motherfucking Bridgewater too. You know what I'm saying? Bridge shoot. Everybody know. I didn't unpack my clothes. Walked out, sat in the line, waved him, and I beat the shit out of him.
Who's this? The warden again?
The warden, you know what I'm saying? That's what I did. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? Like he kept me in 10 block for 3 years. For 3 years, like, hold on, wasn't they? I supposed to only did 18 months. A convict goes through the wars and struggles. A prisoner deals with the complications. An inmate does what he does. You know what I mean? They sent me to MCI New York.
So an inmate follows the rules.
Follows the rules, cuz.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Follows the rules. That's county. You know what I mean? One thing I try to tell people in life, I'm like, I hope you never experience it, but I went through Charles Street. We went to Charles Street. You know what I'm saying? That's when the form. They had rats, all that. Charles Street, if you went through Charles Street at that time, you was official. Okay. You was gonna go through things.
So what made you? So you had a violent streak in prison, of course. You had a violent beginning from 9 years old up. What made you change?
Well, before I was gonna get out, you know what I'm saying, even from Rhode Island when they brought me back to New York, I knew I couldn't be the same person I was then when I got locked up, and now when I'm getting out. It's hard to live, but it's easy to die.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's how they come. You know what I mean? It's hard to live. It's easy to die. So me, I wanted to be better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't thinking I wasn't better, but I want to show, I think, the other population how we are better.
Did you go right back into the life of sticking up motherfuckers, or did you start working, or like, what did you do?
I gave a couple parties, but then I disappeared to Springfield. You know, secondhand jobs, hanging out with.
So you started working.
Started working, you mean? Mm-hmm. My cousin Mike Belnell, he came, you mean? He drove to Springfield. He said, yo, you know, they want to talk to me in New York. So me and him went to New York. I put on with the Source magazine.
I'm gonna use the mic just for, you can use it. Yep, the one over there. All right, so what was your role at the Source magazine?
Well, I was the artist recruiter.
The artist recruiter. So
anybody that brought any clothing in the place, I had to examine it. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, you want me to bring that in? That's what you want? $1,500.
Yeah. So you was putting prices on it,
taxing. You know, listen, you want him to wear that? $2,500. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? The files. You know what I'm saying? Me and Ray J. A lot of people don't realize we started out Ray J. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the files. You know what I'm saying? The Baby Man and all of us. We started out Ray J. Brandy and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm not mad at that. You know what I mean? So it's a great thing. You know what I'm saying? From Boston to California.
Okay. And how long did that job last?
I did that for 11 years.
Oh, yeah?
I did that for 11 years because, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, shout out to my man Leroy Peoples. Shout out to my man, you know what I'm saying, Antonio Saldi, you know, like, and my man Jesus. I went on tour. I was a road manager for the Made Men. You know what I mean? I was a road manager for the Wise Guys. Okay. And, you know, shout out to Hawk. You mean my man James Hawkins, you know what I'm saying, out there.
We started the base out in California, West Buck, Beverly Hills. Shout out to Diamond, shout out to my girl, you know what I'm saying, Rage and all them. So it was crazy. We did a lot of songs with a lot of good artists.
So Memember, that was a group based out of Boston, right?
Based out of Boston. At first they started at Almighty Our Soul. They started Almighty, God rest my brother, my cousin Soul, Tony Johnson. Him and Ray, they started out Ray and Fat Chuck and E Devious and all them, you know what I'm saying, Tony Rome, you know, all of them, you know what I mean? And shout out to Orange Man, you know what I'm saying, that's still locked up with that niggas trying to get out. But that's how the whole bridge started out, you know what I'm saying?
From RSO.
From RSO, you know what I'm saying? That me, Tony introduced me to Ray, and Ray introduced me to Dave Mays at that time.
I'm glad to hear that, you know, once you got out, you had changed and there was no looking back, man. So you went from the Source magazine and now today, so
I was a correctional officer.
No, we right. That's, man, listen, I want you to explain this right now, because I found that out when I was doing my research on you, bro, and I was like, wait a minute, what? Brother, please. So first of all, you're getting ready to prove to the world that you went to jail on a murder, or manslaughter.
Manslaughter, right? Went manslaughter 10 to 20.
And you came home, changed your life around.
Changed life.
You got your record sealed, is that right? Expunged or sealed?
The crazy part is I got my record expunged.
Expunged, okay.
Expunged the day I got sentenced.
Wow. Good lawyer. Definitely had a good
John
lawyer.
Fitzgerald.
All right.
My Jew.
So,
my Jew, nigga.
So let us know how. So you basically flipped how you was living. So now you went from living on the other side to becoming a CO and working in the corrections department.
The great part, the people that are coming down, you know what I'm saying, from high security, from Walpole and all that, trying to get out, you know what I'm saying? And they see me behind the desk when they come in. They was like, Shaka, is that you? I'm like, yo, you don't know me. Give me your name. So I'm trying to play them off, like, trying to help them out, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, don't blow the spot, nigga, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to work it out. We'll work it out. And then later on, I had shout out to J-Dub, you know what I'm saying, Junior Walker, you know what I'm saying? I helped a lot of niggas out that went through the prison system, you know what I'm saying, when I was in there, you know what I'm saying, and I helped them out. I did Park Street, I did Brook House, I did motherfucking, you know what I'm saying, Huntington Ave, I did motherfucking the McGrath House, you know what I'm saying, I ran all, you know what I'm saying, DOC, you know what I'm saying, halfway, all that.
So you gotta, I'm confused right here. Like, you gotta explain, how did you become, because first of all, you weren't an inmate. You were,
I was a prisoner.
Yeah,
convict.
Exactly.
Convict.
Yeah, let me drop that on you. So you wasn't a inmate, you was a convict.
Yes.
So that means you did not, I'm explaining this to everyone out there that don't know the difference. That means he didn't go by the rules of the DOC. He did his own thing and he stayed in the hole, he stayed in trouble.
I stayed in the hole for 7 years, six and a half years.
And yet, you still came home and was able to get a CO job where you were working in the same prisons that you were doing time in.
$2,200 a week.
Wow, this is unbelievable to me, y'all. So, who helped you do that? Like,
yo, shout out to my family member Tony. You were saying, he hooked me up. You were saying, he's like, I run this DYS program. He was like, Shot, you can do a great thing because I see your show. He's like, I said, I come in there and do it, but went in there, started out. That's what happened. I ran the DYS for 5 years. I ran adult system for 6.
Man, this is what I'm talking about. This is what these young brothers need to know.
You said to my cousin Tony, you're saying Richard, you're saying Dorsey. He put me on. You mean he ran a DYS segment, and he was like, "Yo, Shaka, you know, I see you doing the coaching you're in. I want you to go talk to these kids. You know what I'm saying? And you mean I want you to do. I want you to be better. I want you to be better, you mean, and I was like, you know, and when he said that to me, because this is my nigga, you know what I'm saying, this is my people, you mean, this nigga's 6'6", like 6'7", you know what I'm saying, 207 pounds, you know what I'm saying, big motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, I respect him, you know what I'm saying, he loves me, but he wants me to be better, you mean, and I had to take heart to that, like they were saying, like, he reached out to me to do that. So I'm like, you know, I'm gonna come out there and check it. So when I fuck with the DYS kids, you know what I'm saying, they were 12 to 15 or 8 to 15, whatever that was, right? And he just wanted me to talk to him, you know. And I was a little tipsy at that time, and I said a lot of things, you know what I'm saying, and to the kids, you know what I'm saying. And, you know, I thought I was a little outrageous, you know what I'm saying, but they understood what I was talking about. They didn't know. See, a lot of people, if they talked to me, were like, and at that moment though, P, you know what I'm saying, like, we never knew you did time.
Right.
See, they never knew I did time. So,
right.
you know, and if I mentioned it to them, I didn't have to mention it to them because
your record was
my record showing. But I just told them, I said, you know, I did 11 to 8 months, you know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't nothing. And that's what I told the motherfucking guards, the COs, when I was doing prison time in any other states. I was like, I can do your job better than you. Because you know why? You're not trying to help your people inside of it. You're just trying to detain them.
Right.
You're listening to master. I'm telling you, this is how we gotta do to make us all better. Right. You mean? You know what I'm saying, Pete?
Absolutely.
Because there's motherfuckers that's in prison, you know what I'm saying, that, yeah, you're looking out, but you're not looking out the right way. You know what I'm saying? Right. Look out the way to make your motherfucker better.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. You had the experience from both sides, so you were able to.
Yeah, you mean, like and one thing I hate about somebody and some people love me for it. You know, I got into a lot of trouble when I got out. You know what I'm saying? But listen, if you get out in the street and you did 5 years, you could have did a fucking day. Let me do it. You could have did an hour, nigga. That's something that you lost. There's nobody should give you no drugs and say get on your fucking feet and help me up. You do that to me, that means you trying to put me back in jail. That means, because I don't know who the ops are. I don't know what's going on. You give me something and say, oh, get on your feet, nigga, hook me up. That means you're not looking out for me. If you give me some money, okay, I gotta choose my own fate. But you give me that, I'm in your back door.
Yeah. Some things change, some things remain the same, right?
Yeah, some things may say, you're right, P. And that's my theory. You know what I mean? I got 2 brothers. I got a little sister. You know what I mean? I'm the oldest. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that carried on my belt. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people be talking shit. People, I don't know if when you was locked up, you know what I'm saying? I took care of niggas when I was locked up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I sent money from prison to the street.
Right. Nah, I get it.
You know what I mean? So you know that feeling, you know what I mean? So you took care of motherfuckers up. So I don't want to hear nobody else got to say what you're talking about. Okay? I said not hundreds, I said thousands.
Right. I feel you. Nah, I feel you. Hey, listen. What I like most right now, man, about your story, bro, is this is, to some people when they hear this, it's gonna be unbelievable because you went from one side to another, and we're told a lot of times in life that when you got a record, you can't be, you know, nothing but that. You know, that known as that criminal, or you can't get you can't vote, you can't
do that.
Yeah, you can't do that, and that's not true.
Let me hit you with something else for you. I was the bodyguard to Tom Brady.
Oh yeah?
For 6 years. Ask ESPN. Ask Fox Sports, you know what I'm saying? I had to retire because my father passed away. He passed away, you know what I'm saying? I had to take care of my mother. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped that. But I work for Harvard University.
That's what's up.
I work for Harvard University to this day. I work for the athletic department. You know what I'm saying? To this day. For the last 10 years. Athletic department, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And this is at where?
Harvard University. Harvard University. The prestige Harvard. Yes. Athletic department. Yeah. Check it out. You can Google it. You know what I'm saying? My name. You Google my name in Harvard University, Shaka D. Johnson. You're going to come up. You know what I'm saying? Athletic department. You know what I'm saying? Section 2. You know what I'm saying? Boom. Been there for quite a while.
That's what's up. So Shaka definitely, man, is an example, man, of a gangster gone legit. But check this out, bro. Let them know, before I let you go, I want you to talk about what you do with the kids. How you give back to the kids.
But I try to do everything, you know what I'm saying? Like my brother, you know what I'm saying, he does a fitness, you know what I'm saying, program, you know what I'm saying, for from 8 years old to whatever age you were saying you want to become, you know what I'm saying? We try to get fitness, I try to do a bike, you know what I'm saying, ride, you know what I'm saying, Wednesdays through Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just try to
Are you also coaching?
Well, I was coaching, you're saying, the Dorchester Eagles, you're saying, well, my man Tony Hurston, bless his mother's soul, she passed away, you're saying, and me and my man beefing them. I did that for a while. We was undefeated, me and Russ and Gerard, we was undefeated for 2 years in a row. You know what I mean? Went to the championship. Some things happened. I stopped that, but I'm thinking about trying to do, you know what I'm saying, another team. I'm thinking about doing some baseball now. Some people are implementing some other shit to me, so, but I don't know, you're saying. There's a lot of avenues, P, you're saying, that we can all get into, you're saying, I can get into that I've done, you're saying. Like, I had a scholarship, you're saying, a lot of people don't realize. I think you don't realize that me, my man Dave Noble, shout out to my man Dave Noble, you know what I'm saying? We had a scholarship for Notre Dame. I could play baseball or basketball. He could play football or basketball, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had a scholarship before I went to prison. I mean, see, so I know some knowledge. They knew this nigga had some knowledge, you know what I'm saying? But at the time being, as I told people, like, I didn't really give a fuck about that because I was trying to find out who my real family was. And now that, you know, I found out who my real family was, it was like, all right, that's great, but that's what the whole thing was, you know what I'm saying, in my lifetime growing up. Okay. You know, and Gangsta Gone Legit, you know what I'm saying, like, is the best thing because one thing I try to tell people is like, you can't manufacture friends. You can't manufacture. So when you have a great friend, you know what I'm saying, with you say, not a good friend. Let me tell you that. Not a good friend. A great friend, you better learn how to keep that person around. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about, keeping great friendships. You know what I mean? And honesty, integrity, being the best you can be. And if you can't be that, then you don't need to be around the people you are around with.
No, that's good. No, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong, brother. You know, this is, like I told you, this is your story. Listen, but I'm sitting here thinking while you're talking, and I want to know, because it sounds like you learned a lot in your life and you've come a far way. What would you tell a younger Shaka? What advice would you have for a younger you?
Trust nobody. I mean, trust nobody, you mean, because everything I'd done, you're saying, growing up was for somebody else. I mean, and that's just, you're saying, right. But I'm not mad at that, but that's what it was. I only gotten 2 fights because of me. Maybe 3 fights now because of me in my life. And I'm 50 years old. You know what I mean? So that means something to me. So that means, I mean, and then people are like, what do you mean by that? That means I have a lot of love
for everybody else.
Got
you. That's deep. That's real, though. I feel that. I really do.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you.
No, definitely, bro. I feel that.
Sometimes I tell people that, like, you know what I mean? But I'm like, listen, I don't have no problems.
Trust no one. Now, I get the trust no one, but what would you tell someone about the street life? Like, that's headed down that path right now, that's in the streets. What advice do you have for them?
If you're going to be in the street, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be in the fucking street. You got to be committed to it. You got to be committed to it. See, a citizen is a citizen. See, I don't get mad at that. See, if you're going to be in the street, you got to do what you got to do. I'm not mad. Like, some things you might not get the job. You got to do what you got to, but you got to commit it. You can't be going telling on other motherfuckers to benefit your life. You can't be, you have to have the code. You got to have a code. I'm not asking you to do it, but you got to have a code to it. If you ain't a real and legitimate to yourself to it, then why do it? Don't be that dude. You mean, don't be that dude. I mean, there's a lot of people that can, you want to sacrifice and do that other dumb shit, but don't be that fucking bitch. Don't be that cunt. You mean, come on. You can be square. You ain't got to be a hoe. You ain't got to give the pussy. You ain't, bitch, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do none of that. You ain't just as a nigga. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do none of that. You don't have to do any of that. You know what I mean? That's one thing I try to tell about bossing motherfuckers. You bossing people, you know what I'm saying? Us bossing people, you can have a choice. You don't have to be in a gang. You can be a square. You can do whatever you want. But if you in Chicago If you in Cali, if you in Arkansas, you gotta choose a color. You gotta choose a street. See, those are the things that you don't understand. You are spoiled here in Massachusetts. We're spoiled here. You know what I'm saying? But me growing up, I didn't have to be in the gang or they say or in the crew. That was my choice. Other states, that's their motherfucking preference. They gotta choose something. We ain't gotta choose nothing here. Other states, you can look at it. Look it up. Check me out. Look me up.
So what I'm hearing you say is, basically, if you had a choice, or if you knew you had a choice back then, you would have chose being a square.
Well, I was a square. Shout out to Snyder. Shout out to my man Angel. Angel and Snyder used to bring me to job interviews at 14 years old. I got my first job in Filings in downtown, you know what I'm saying, because of my man Snyder. I mean, I got the jobs. My cousin Tony, you know what I'm saying, bless his soul, he said we can't be 24-hour gangsters. He had a construction job. Him and Fat Chuck, they had a construction job. They was doing construction daytime. You know what I mean? So he told us at a young age. See, that's what I'm saying. Nobody can tell somebody they're a leader. You know what I mean? The leader can't say he's a leader. It has to be given. See, some people be acting like, oh, I'm a leader. No, you ain't a leader. It has to be given. See, Tony, my cousin, he was a leader. I ain't mad at that. You know what I mean? Because I'm a soldier, you know what I'm saying? And I become a leader later on. Maybe. But you know what I'm saying? You got to listen to good words. Niggas told you to have a job in the daytime or nighttime, you know what I'm saying, to make yourself in. You can't be a 24-hour gangster. Can't. It ain't going to work out.
I love that, man. And on that note, this has been another version of Real Spit from a Gangsta Gone Legit. You just listened to Shaka's story. Stay tuned.